Danny's just been saying, Derek, that he wanted to spoil Celtic's title-winning party. Is that your attitude towards it as well?
Do you know, I've not even made any reference to that. I think for us it's, and we've had a meeting this morning, it's just really concentrating on us to try and deliver a big performance again. It's a bit unfortunate for us. We, as a home team, the last home game of the season, you'd like it to be a wee bit more about us and the fans being able to celebrate with the players, and hopefully we can still do that with a positive result, you know. And I think the narrative will be Celtic coming down here, the way the cards have been dealt with the games, that Celtic can win the league here. Obviously the weekend there, a big result for Celtic gets them into this position. For us to beat a team like Celtic, we need to do so much right, and I think a fully motivated Celtic team are difficult to contend with, and we've got to just focus on us and try to get another positive result. You know, we can take reference from previous games against them this season. A lot of the players playing tomorrow night will be the same players that's been involved in these games, so we want to try and finish the season right for us. Saturday was a big step towards that. You know, it was huge to do it the manner which we did. You know, obviously the week before we get the news that we're qualified for Europe, unbeaten Dundee, we knew we had to go again. So we asked the players a big focus last week, a big effort to get the job done. So our job is done in terms of qualifying for Europe and getting fourth spot. But I know my players, I know the fact that Celtic coming here tomorrow night, it's a big deal, it's a big game, live on Sky. We've got an opportunity to go and show we're a good side, and hopefully we can do that again. The
players be more relaxed, given that they've already accomplished what they've accomplished?
Possibly. I think I do think every time a manager's always looking for improvements, and I do think that the best way a player can improve is keep his motivation high. So the motivation to perform has got to be there. Because if it's not against a team like Celtic, then they can undo you. And nobody wants, from our point of view, from a command position, nobody wants us just to fulfil a fixture here. We're not just here to turn up and just play second fiddle. We've got a game, and we're duty bound to go and try and be as good as we can be, and that's what we'll try and be.
What was the main things you got right in the 2 victories earlier this season?
The 2 victories in the draw at Celtic Park, for me, I thought we had a confidence about our work in and out of possession. We recognise a lot of key. I mean, they're all good players at Celtic, but they've got a lot of key players, and you try to limit that influence as much as you can. It's easier said than done, but you know, I think for us it's to try to be aggressive when we can be with our work, aggressive how we run, aggressive how we talk, aggressive with the contact, and try to show an intent, but also being smart at possession, making good decisions and not getting too emotional. I think sometimes you play these types of games, you know, you can lose. Celtic keep the ball for so long. They test your discipline, they test your organisation, they test your mentality, and you've got to win a lot of those individual battles, and you've got to stay focused and on the job.
You must be the only team, Derek, that's got a positive record over Celtic, having played them 4 times, beaten them twice and drawn once. It says a lot about you and your team this season, doesn't it?
Yeah, which was the total opposite from last season. You know, last season we were just fulfilling fixtures, to be honest. A lot of times we were buoyed off, sent back in our box pretty quickly against the Old Firm, and it was something that we spoke about to try and change at the start of the campaign. So it pleases me that we're probably seen as a tough game for most teams, but if Celtic and Rangers view it as a tough game, then that's a bit of progress, and I like that. So hopefully we can continue to be that.
And even historically, I think you've got to go back to the mid-1960s for the last time Kilmarnock won 3 matches at home in a row against Celtic. That would be quite something if...
Yeah, you'll remember that, Ronnie? No?
I can remember.
No, well, listen, I think that we've managed to, I think in terms of wins and draws this season, I think we're 77-78%, you know, in terms of that side of it. We've hardly lost. We've not lost too many games. I think we've only lost a couple more than Rangers and lost fewer than Hearts, I think. But we've had a lot of draws in there. We've shown the competitive side to ourselves week in, week out. And that's been against most of the teams, so hopefully we can continue to be that. So I want us to be for the next 2 games, to be honest, and hopefully tomorrow night we know there's a performance in us that can win the game. We've got to believe in that, and hopefully we can demonstrate that.
You said a couple of weeks ago, Derek, that you find it quite hard to relax and enjoy it throughout the season. Can you allow yourself to do that now that you've gotten over the line?
We spoke on Saturday before the game. I think the players have earned the right to enjoy this last week. We didn't want a situation where if St Mirren had beaten us on Saturday and then St Mirren go and beat Hearts tomorrow and we lose to Celtic, you're going to the last game of the season. It's still in the balance for fourth spot. So we'd spoke about that prior to the St Mirren game. I want the players to enjoy this week. We've been trying to be relaxed. We were in on Sunday, we trained on Sunday, so we're straight back on it in that sense. But you know, it's I think it's important that we do try and enjoy it. But at the same time, we're well aware of the strength of Celtic tomorrow night, and we've got to be ready for it. You know, the game demands full focus. It demands our attention, and we'll be switched on for that. And the good thing about the players is I do think how they are in training. They can switch off and they can switch on, and that's always a sign of a good pro and a good type. And hopefully we can be switched on enough tomorrow.
How tough has it been mentally this season up until now? Like you said, the St Mirren result over Dundee, forcing the players to go again.
Yeah.
It's quite tough, especially.
You know, I've actually really enjoyed this season. It's getting to the stage now. We've got 2 games left, and you know, normally at this stage of the season, as manager and players, you're always looking for the end of the season. You can't wait to get your break and start again. But there's also an element of me that doesn't want this season to finish. But you know, when Dundee lost to St Mirren last week and we're sitting in the house, really, we played Rangers on the Sunday and we got that European spot, and there was a sense of relief. We've got Europe. Even though it looked as if it had been on the cards for a while, but it was also the realisation we've got to go again here and got to go and beat St Mirren and effectively to kill that the potential of losing 4 spots. So that's where we were last week. In terms of stress, I've not been stressed this season, to be honest. I've really not. I think last season was the opposite of this season for loads of reasons. It was tough. I think you're really having to scramble and tap into every little bit to try and get performances from players. But there's a trust in my players now that we've had, and we've probably had it since day one this season. I think the supporters see that, the trust that we've got in each other. I think they know that we're going to get at least a level of performance, and we've got no flaky ones, nobody to go under, nobody you can't hang your hat on, nobody that when the pressure comes on, buckle. And you know, I feel as though there's a strength about us physically and mentally. So from that point of view as a manager, rather than sitting there as it was last season sometimes at the sideline and capable of making things better and having to suffer sometimes watching what was getting played out in front of you, but this season has been the polar opposite. It's as enjoyable a season as I've had as a manager, and that's down to the performance of the lads.
When you reflect on your time as a manager, you mentioned the enjoyment there. Where does this rank in terms of achievement, what you've done with Kilmarnock this season?
I mean, fourth. I mean, I think people say only fourth, what you was the achievement of that. But from where we were, I think we've took huge steps forward as a club. We were in a poor place. A couple of seasons ago, we were in a bad spot. So if we'd said then where we are now, we would have been all over that, and that's where we are. So I think you've got to kind of. I'm saying to the players to enjoy it, but you're right. I think as a staff and as manager, you've got to try and enjoy it, because football's not always easy. There's a belt in the mouth round every corner, and football can be tough. It can be challenging. It can be difficult and not enjoyable, particularly for managers. And I have really enjoyed this as not in terms of maybe achievement, but certainly in terms of enjoyment and satisfaction. This has been right up there.
And when you cast an eye to next season, is the aim to better this season, and what does that look like for you?
How we can improve is obviously we're going to have a European challenge, and it's something that we'd like to try and, if we can, make a good fist of that, and we'll just turn up and enjoy just being in Europe. We want to try and do well on that. I think it'll be difficult to improve our league form, to be honest, but there's a challenge there to try and do it if we can. There's a few teams in the league with huge resources, more than us, and other teams like us who should be in the top 6. And if they get themselves sorted, then that's going to be tough. But we'll try again to be improving in the league. I think where we can see real improvement is the cups. You know, we've been a good cup team, I think, in my time here, but we've just fell short. Hopefully we can get to a cup final and be 90 minutes away from silverware. That's where I think you can see maybe real tangible improvement.
We're talking to Danny there. I think he's in the last year of his deal now, or about to go into it. Are you speaking to him about trying to extend? Does he want to?
Yeah, what do you say about that? No, we have been speaking. Hopefully there's some good news on that soon. Would like Danny to stay, and Danny's indicated he would love to stay. He's playing his best football his career here, but I think Kilmarnock have been really good for Danny. Danny's been brilliant for us. So we talk closely every other day, and Danny's been influential for us, and hopefully as I say, there's a deal there to be done. We're well, and we've had loads of conversations with a lot of players behind the scenes about extending and signing, and speaking to others from out with to try and get in the door as well for coming back for pre-season. So these conversations are ongoing, but I'd like to speak more about that once there's something to tell, and there's nothing to tell other than the fact that we've had some positive talks.
In terms of his level, you must be. I mean, he's really has taken it up a notch. How high can he go in your opinion?
Yeah, until he signs his contract, he's done all right. He has done well. He's really his numbers, his assists, his constant wanting. I love the fact that Danny just wants the ball at the time, even when he's going through a wee tough phase in a game. Never hides, never shuts his responsibility. I think he's got better. He's out of work. I think there's more trust in what we're asking of him. We play with 2 strikers and 2 wingers, and we want them to be as positive as they can, but none of them shirk the responsibility. They work hard. He's a pleasure to be about every day, as they all are, but his assists and his goals have been vitally important. Scored some important goals for us, so both him and Matty have been influential, and hopefully we can continue to have that type of player. We've got him under contract for another year, so it's not the worst thing in the world if he wasn't to extend, but we've had positive talks, and hopefully we can have some good news on that soon.
How's your squad?
Good. Joe Wright comes back in from a suspension from the Rangers game. James Balagizi comes back into the squad after tweaking his knee a couple of weeks ago, and that's us. It's just Kyle McInnes and Brad Lyons who are out for the next 2 games.